And now we're going for the last presentation. And because it's last, and it's me presenting, I'll try to be quick. And I just noticed that I did not introduce myself in the morning for those online. So my name is Wojciech Kędziora. I represent Warsaw University of Life Sciences. And I'll take you for two short trips showing two case studies that we visited in Poland. First, we'll focus on the large-scale wind damage that we visited in northeastern Poland last year with the project. So Pisz Forest, because this is the place we are talking about, is a quite exceptional place in Poland because on July 4th, 2002, just before midday, a big storm hit and it disturbed a big area of not only forest, but in forest it was 33,000 hectares that were damaged in one afternoon. The belt was 130 kilometers long. This is a distance from Prague to Hradec Králové. I think from Zvoleń to Bratislava is a little bit longer, but Žilina would be similar. And I also checked for Bosnia, but from Banja Luka to Sarajevo is also a little bit more than this. But around this, and from Sumy to Kharkiv, it's also 180 around. So, but to give you the perspective, it's a long distance, and it was 10 to 12 kilometers wide. And unfortunately, half of this damage was done in Pisz Forest that we are looking at. So it looked like this just after. And imagine it's 2002. You have no drones. You have almost barely any aerial footage. They just took a small plane. They took a photographer. They went to do this. Of course, this is a small patch of the whole area because area was long. And if you see here on the slide, it went through. I just switch it for the laser. So it went from Nowogród, Pisz, Drygały, Giżycko, Borki and Czerwony Dwór. Interesting part is that in Pisz Forest, it was more than 2 million cubic meters of wood that were downed, destroyed, somehow damaged. So it's a lot. And this was also from our perspective, is an interesting case study because it took many years for them to work over it. So what they did, they started with the inventory, similarly as in Czech case study. They needed to know what is the area. That is the first step you have to do with such conditions. Then they started to think about the safety, especially safety of the workers, safety of the transportation, and safety because of fire. Remember, it's middle of summer, just after the storm, so probably next 2 weeks gonna be very hot. When it's hot and a lot of fuel, it can burn easily. So they tried to be as fast as possible. They cleared all the roads so the fire will not spread and it's easily accessible. Then they divided those patches on the right map into smaller ones, smaller chunks of 50, 200 hectares between those ranges. And each of them was assigned to foresters from neighboring forest economical areas, forest districts. They were assigned them to take care of them because the amount of work was huge. And after that, they started to prioritize which trees should be cut first. Should it be those lying already on the ground, those still standing, but probably with damaged root system, those bending, or which? Like, you have to decide. This is a problem. You have to make decision. So they started to do this, and on this map you can see that it took them several years, not only to clear the land, but also to replant land and to establish new forests there, or re-establish forests there. But not only forest was the matter, they also thought about the touristical infrastructure. Of course, I believe it was done after all the forest procedures were taken. So they started with touristical infrastructure. One of the examples is the watchtower. It was built near the place in which the forest was left untouched. Because I didn't say that. This purple patch here, which is called Shast Forest, is around 400 hectares, if I'm not mistaken, left untouched. The damage there was still there, nobody cleaned it, so they wanted to see how the nature will take care of it. And I'll just remind you, this is a normal forest, no special, no national park, nothing like this. But they wanted to have a place like this because it was a great opportunity for scientists as well, but also, you know, for anybody interested in the topic. So they've built a watchtower, 12 meters tall, just to see the process, how it's going. And they also built a special trail through those destroyed forests, just to let people know how the procedure is going on. And because with this, you can ask them, what would they like more? Would you like to leave the forest as it is? Or would you like the forest to be restored? So it's also some kind of connection with public participation, more or less. We visited the place, and we've seen the tourist infrastructure there, and we believe that it has some potential. And it's not high-intensive tourist visits, not high-intensive tourist infrastructure, but we believe that it's a good place to show the two options that you have: the option to regenerate the forest or the option to leave it, and also to discuss with people, and education. So what we've learned with this case study. So first of all, you have to do the inventory. This is crucial. Without it, you are blind, you don't know what to do. Then you have to take care about the safety, not only of the workers, but as I mentioned, for the fire risk. And if you divide the area into smaller chunks, it's easier to digest or just to work of it. So then you can prioritize the workload and do step by step from the maybe most important, most valuable places, or most places with biggest hazards. But they still have some problems. So the area, 12,000 hectares, that was damaged and restored, is still area of similar forest, similar age, similar species, similar structure. So what problems they have? Grazing, deer, elk, similar with insects. And of course they have problem that the trees right now after replanting are 15, 20 years old. For Scots pine, which is dominating in this area, this is fire prone. This is the worst time or the best time for fire, depending on the perspective. But the lesson about the infrastructure, that you should not only use the restored forest as a touristic place, but also show the people what can you do or how it looks like. Maybe they are also interested to look on the process. There are of course many different options what you can do and where you can do, but generally this is one option you can follow. And the second trip I'm going to take you on is we were seeing transformation of a riparian forest into what I called multi-purpose touristic facility. So we go closer to Warsaw, again, a place that we visited during the project. It was a Pomechówek park near Wkra river, and it is 50 minutes drive from this campus. So there was partially some damage due to the water, but the damage was not the most important. And they had some management strategy there. They wanted to transform this area into something interesting for people. So the water damage was connected with the river. The river was flooding the area, making it not easy for forest management. And at the same time, there were one more obstacle I will show you in a moment. So the area was almost 10 hectares park on the left side of the river, because the river flowing south, I think so. And they built some walking trails and additional infrastructure with the goal in mind, to protect the richness of flora and fauna and to make this place interesting for people. So not only flooding, but also the power line going above this terrain was a problem, because you cannot plant trees underneath. Or you can, but you have to keep them very low. So, and here is the slope of the river terrace. So this terrace down here was flooded, it was covered with shrubs, and nothing from the productive point of view was growing there. So they decided to transform this into a touristic place. And what they did. So, of course, towers are important in Poland, as you see. This is the next one. People like to climb up and see from the top view how it looks like. And of course, this tower gives you a unique opportunity to see the landscape with the river and surrounding areas. You can go on a treetop trail looking like from the bird's perspective how the squirrels are living in the trees, in the tree crowns. So that might be important not only for children, but as you see, for adults as well. You can get a Tyrolean slide over the river, which will be also a part of fun. You can get a climbing wall that you can go up, and it's not only for children. The size shows that even adults can go here, but there are special equipment for children in the surrounding area. But I said multi-purpose because not only children need some attractions, not only children are the main focus, we also should think about the older people. So I think that this park shows us that you can have different target groups in one place that could benefit all together at the same time. So what we've learned from this visit, that even a place that was previously unattractive somehow, I would not say not useful, but it was hardly manageable, can be transformed with a special approach. The local conditions are of the biggest importance. If you have a river, you should follow some river attractions. If you have the slope, maybe you can do something there. We were yesterday in Bełchatów. They have some mountains. We discussed that maybe they should do some kind of bike tracks going down that might be popular for the tourists. So this is this type of thinking. I have this, what can I do in this place? Not just taking blindly anything from other places, just adjusting. And you should think about many target groups, not only one. Just try to be diverse here because, of course, it's mostly fitted for children, but not the children alone.